Hi, this is ipodtutorialdudes, and today I'm going to show you how to build the $1,000 computer. Yes, that's right, the elusive $1,000 computer. I've got a couple requests for it. It seems like that's a decent price to make Actually, I found out you can make a very fast computer for $1,000. It's not the fastest. I might also make a video of my dream computer, which is a couple tens of thousands, but that's neither here nor there. We're gonna make a $1,000 computer today, and I have two different ways you can build it. These are all the stuff that you'll get for both builds, but there are two different builds. You can go either the graphics build or you can go the processing build. This is if you play games more and you want more graphics. This is if you want more processing and you don't use it for, you play games occasionally, but that's really not what you use your computer for that much. Either way, you'll have a very good build that I think you will enjoy. So we're going to start out by with the chassis. This is my personal favorite chassis. It is the Rose Wheel Blackhawk. This is, I think, one of the best chassis ever made. It is a very nice it's a larger size, so if you don't have that big of a place to put it, you can measure it out. It has it right here. If you click on the last picture, it has these specs. This is a very nice chassis. It has some cool lit fans, as you can see here. The inside of it is very nice. It has great cable management. It has some slides for your bays, for your 5¼ inch bays or 3¼ and then it has your hard drive and solid state drive bays here. And as you can see here, it has the connectors. Most of the fans are Molex connectors, so don't worry about, the motherboard doesn't have to have all that many fan connectors. And if you want to buy more fans, I would recommend buying Molex fans. And it has, but it's a very nice case with cable management, which isn't found out very much in the mid-price range cases. And this is very nice. It fits a micro ATX and ATX. I'm going to be buying this case and upgrading. My current computer has a micro ATX, so it'll still fit it, and eventually, obviously, I'll upgrade it to the ATX. So that is a very nice chassis that I think you'll enjoy. And if you want to buy some more fans for it, it already comes with I think 3 or 4 fans. So next we're going to get to the motherboard. This was a joy trying to find. Not that it's that hard, but the motherboard I chose, you can support some very, very fast RAM, 2800 RAM. The RAM I'll be getting will be the 1866 RAM, which this RAM is very expensive and it's overclocked, obviously, as you can see here. But the details, it's the LGA 1155, which means it'll support the i7, the i5, and the i3 processors. It will not support the Sandy Bridge E, but I wouldn't suppose you're going to buy that if you're trying to build a $1,000 computer. That would pretty much build the whole computer in one part right there. So the spots I liked about this computer, or the motherboard when I saw it, was the 6 gigabits per second SATA drives, or SATA ports. It has 4 of them, which means you can support multiple 6 gigabit per second SATA drives. Then it has 4 of the 3 gigabit per second ones. It has 2 PCI 3.0 ports, which is nice. That's more than enough. I mean, you're not going to use really more than one, because you need one for a graphics card. And unless you want to buy 2 graphics cards, over time you can do that if you want. So it supports 2. It also obviously supports max LAN speeds of 1,000 megabits per second. It also has a HDMI port on the back. You can see it has headers for, it uses a 24-pin ATX power connector, which I'll have there. The USB ports on the back, it has 4 USB 3.0 ports and 2 USB 2.0. Now, let's say you have 4 different things you plug in the back of your computer, and all of them are USB 2.0. Don't worry about it. They support USB 3.0 as well. Oh, and the chassis, I forgot to mention, the chassis has 2 USB 3.0 ports on it. So you also connect it to the header on the internal components right here. And you can see more features down here. I'll have links to all these in the description. So the next part is the power supply. Now I found this is a very good deal. I'm getting this power supply when I'm upgrading my chassis / graphics card / power supply. So this is what I'm going to get. It is the Coolmax ZU series. It is a 900 watt, which is way more than you'll probably ever need. But it's a very, very nice. It's a very nice power supply. It is mostly modular. There's the only section that isn't modular is the part that connects to the motherboard. They're very long cables, which is good because the case that we'll be getting has good cable management. Now if we go down here to the specs, you can see 900 watts. The main connectors are 20 plus 4, so it'll work for a motherboard. It has a 2 6-pin and 2 6 plus 4 pin, so those will connect to our graphics cards very well. It has the static power connector. It has as you can see, it's mostly modular. It's 80 plus bronze certified, which is what you want to look for when you're buying a power supply, just so you know, because that means it'll last 85% very well. And you can see here it has the connectors. It has 6 static connectors, 6 peripheral or Molex connectors, and for the graphics cards and for the floppy disk drive, just for yucks. I think they still throw that in there for some reason. And you can see this also connects to the motherboard or things close to the motherboard for the static connections there. So this is a very nice power supply. I won't go into too much detail. It's a very good deal for the price. So 900 watts is completely overkill. This computer you probably can get away with 600, 550-ish. You know, you should be fine with that. So the next part is our CD DVD drive. I really don't need to go into this very far in depth. It's a $20 CD DVD drive. Yeah, that's about that. Nothing special about this. I mean, if you want a Blu-ray player on your computer, you're gonna have to spend about $60 for it. But if you don't need it, like I don't think you really need it. I mean, if you're into that stuff, you can do that and cut your costs somewhere else. But this, you know, nothing special there. Just a DVD drive. You can basically install Windows with it. That's really the main point of it. Oh, I didn't include Windows in the cost of this, but we'll get to that later. So a card reader. A lot of people neglect this when building a computer. I think it's kind of a nice feature to have. So I decided to show a 40-in-1 USB 2.0, 3.5 inch. So this will fit inside of your Roswell Blackhawk. As you can see here, it fits in good. It's USB 2.0, meaning it is a USB 2.0 header. As you can see here, so it'll plug right into your motherboard into one of the USB 2.0 header slots that I believe the motherboard has 6 of them. So this is nice. The multi-card reader, it supports 40 different colored cards, which is nice. Like as you can see here, is USB 2.0. It has micro SD, all that good stuff. It has some of the bigger cards for professional cameras, and you can see the cord that plugs in the USB 2.0 headers. So I think that's a nice detail that a lot of people neglect to usually think about. Now the hard disk drive, HDD. I decided to opt with a little bit faster drive. It's a 1 terabyte drive, and it's SATA 6 gigabits per second. So this is going to utilize one of your 4 6 gigabit per second, which is good because this is going to be nice. It has a very fast transfer rate. It's just a nice terabyte hard drive. It should be more than you really need. Like my computer, I have a ton of crap on it, and I'm like 150 gigs into it. You know, it's definitely more than you need. It's a nice hard drive, so not too much to say about that. 7,200 rotations per minute. You know, if you want to get more, you know, you could probably get a less quality one that's like 1.5, 2 terabytes if you really wanted to. But this is great quality stuff right here. I mean, you shouldn't need more than a terabyte unless you. Then again, if you do certain things, you know, like you might want to upgrade the CVD drive depending on what you do. If you might want to upgrade the hard disk drive as well. So the random access memory. I had a lot of fun with this. This is very nice random access memory, or RAM, as most people call it. It is 2 slots of 8 gigabyte RAM. It's 240 pin, obviously DDR3. It's 1866, so it's nice RAM. The motherboard supports this. It doesn't take up that much voltage. It comes in a nice pack of just 2, which is also good because it's 16 gigs RAM and only 2 sticks. And what that means is if you really wanted to buy more eventually, you could upgrade to 32 gigs, which your motherboard supports. Just spend the $85 or even less if you buy a different model. You could probably get for cheaper, but it would be a slower kind of RAM. But you can upgrade to 32 gigs, which is way more than you need. 16 is way more than you need, I think, in the first place. You can really get away with 8 for most things. But as you can see here, some of the specs. I already went over it's faster than most RAM. Yeah, it's compatible with this is the platform that we have. Yeah, not that much you look at, but yeah, this is definitely a great quality RAM. Now we're going to move into the two different sections that we have. So this total brings you up to $545 with all of this stuff combined. So moving on, there are two different ways you can aim your build. You can aim it at maximum graphics or maximum processing. I forgot to mention earlier, if you get maximum graphics and decide to go the AMD way, you're going to need the other motherboard, the AMD motherboard. I found this one. It's the socket that works with this processor. It'll be in the video description. It is pretty much the same as this, just it's a little bit better than this one, but about the same price. So that's just for reference if you decide to go with the AMD processor, which I would recommend in this case. So the graphics direction. I will start off with the processors. For processor number one, AMD. You don't have to get both AMD here. You don't have to get you don't have to get the AMD Radeon and the AMD processor. You can get the Intel processor and AMD Radeon, or you can get the NVIDIA and the Intel or AMD. It doesn't matter what combination of these you get, but I would recommend the AMD processor. It is the brand new FX 8350 Vershiva with pile drive architecture. It says it's 220, but it's not going to be. You can get it on Amazon wherever for 200. I mean, a bunch of these things you can get at different places cheaper. The only two places I would really trust would be Amazon and Tiger Direct. For these things, I mean, you can try searching them if you want to save prices. You can try buying it during the holiday seasons, after holiday seasons. You know, whenever you think a good time to buy these things are. I'm sure you can get them cheaper for this, and then you can go for the extra bonus I have down there. So. Anyways, for the AMD processor, here is the 8-core. It takes up a bunch of wattage, but that's why you have a 900-watt power supply. Yeah, remember, if you get this processor here, you have to get the AMD motherboard up here. I didn't go into it, but it's pretty much the same as the other one. Oops. So for this one, you can see here it's 4 GHz, which is very fast starting clock. It actually competes well with the i7s, but the price is set that I think it'll be. This is what I would recommend if you decide to go graphics card way. The other processor is the Intel Ivy Core or Ivy Bridge. The other way to go is the Intel i5 Ivy Bridge 3.3 GHz. So it's decent. It's about $209. So you might go a tad over 1,000, you'll be like by $10 or so. So I don't think that was a huge deal. This is the other one. It has crappy graphics integrated, so obviously you'll have a graphics card anyways. But for Intel, this is the Intel way to go. If you decide you really don't like AMD, you know, be my guest, go AMD. I don't really care. I would prefer this in this case, but if you want to go Intel, remember get the Intel motherboard, because the Intel motherboard will support both processors I have, which are, this is Intel, that one down there is Intel. It's just the Ivy Bridge, you know, nothing fancy. 77 watts, so it's significantly less than the other one, but we have a ton anyways. It's a quad core. It doesn't have hyper threading. It's not the i7, but the other one. But remember, this is the graphics build, not the processor build. So that's why these cards are very fast, or the processors are fast, but not what the other processor will be. So the graphics cards, you have two choices: the NVIDIA or the AMD Radeon. I will go over the two different choices quickly. You may not be quite familiar with the specs on these graphics cards. You know, that's okay. This is the Radeon, or the NVIDIA. It is PSI Express 3.0, so both of your motherboards, either one you choose, will have this. It has SLI support, which means you can link more than one graphics card together. This is more really hardcore gaming stuff. This is more, if you want to do this, you gotta spend more money than what you're spending right now. But it is GD. This is kind of like what a RAM is basically. GDDR5, which is basically the fastest version it is. It's the GTX 660, so it's the current generation of the version. The MSI Twin Forza 3, so it'll keep your card nice and cool. Don't overclock too much though, unless you buy more cooling for it. But as you can see, it's pretty fast, 129-bit, 2 gigs of RAM, or yeah, not really RAM, but you know, it has 2 gigs of it. So it's pretty nice. It's pretty fast too. If you scroll down, scroll down a little bit, you can see here the core clock is over 1,000. The boost clock is over 1,000. That's the little overclocking they do for you. And so this is the NVIDIA card, and then the other one is the RADEON. This is the RADEON 7870. This is also the gigahertz edition. It's a much faster bit rate. It's a same GDDR5, 2 gigs of it. It has PCI Express 3.0. The core clock is a little bit faster than the other one. There's a couple more cores. So I mean, if you want to go for the one that is rated faster, go for this one. The only downside about both of these cards is they don't come with adapt. Oh, look, this one has 3 fans. It's kind of cool. The downside about these is that they don't come with converters, so you'll have to either have an HDMI, a DVI, or you'll have to buy a converter. The converter's for about $5 or so. If you have a VGA like I do, you'll have to get a converter that converts either DVI. I think DVI is the most common, DVI to VGA. Yeah, but if you have HDMI, you know, both of these cards support HDMI, but both of them don't have VGA. So just so you know, you'll have to buy a converter. So don't expect it to plug into your monitor if you have VGA. The VGA have the screws on both sides, kind of as you can see here, the screws here, but it's the, you know, the classicer shape. Okay, so now this total price will bring you to $955, or technically up to $1,015 if you get the Intel and the Radeon. It will bring you up to $1,015. If you get the NVIDIA and AMD, it will bring you down to this. So that's your price range-ish. So I'll just change this real quick. So you know, that keeps it around the $1,000 price range. And remember, I'll mention this at the end of the video again, but Windows, to get an operating system, you could probably use your current hard drive if you have a decent hard drive, or you can transfer all your files, including all the Windows files, over to the new hard drive. So I'll talk about that more at the end of the video. But next we're going to go into the processing. This CPU or the GPU, graphics processing unit here, isn't anything crazy. There we go. It is the Radeon 7770. So I mean PCI Express 3.0. It's 128-bit, 1 GB. So it's a decent graphics card. It's nothing to be ashamed about. It's obviously a bit cheaper. And a bunch of these have rebates. I didn't count the rebates because I think the rebates don't give you actual cash. They give you more just cash to buy for HIS products or whatever. But as you can see here again, this does not have VGA, so you'll have to get a converter. So this is a decent, respectable graphics card. You know, nothing special, but it'll do some work for you. It stays nice and cool. As you can see here, the core clock is actually clocked pretty darn fast. So this is a nice graphics card for the price. And the last item on here is the processor. Now this processor is pretty much the fastest processor in the Ivy Bridge series. It is the i7-3770K Ivy Bridge, 3.5 gigahertz overclocks to the turbo. Basically means it'll run on about this much. It is $320, so it's on the expensive side. And it comes with the Intel graphics, but not that that matters because you're already getting another graphics card. This is nice and fast. As you can see here, it uses less watts than the 77 watts, so it's nice and low. It comes with a heat-sinking fan, like I said before. You'll have to get another one if you want. So you know, this is a very nice. This is processor. If you want to get the souped-up processor, go for this one. It is hyper-threading. It'll be very, very well worth it. So then we'll get to the extras. So the way you're gonna have to get an operating system. Most of you probably already have a computer before you're buying this, so you're already going to have a hard drive. Now, if your hard drive is big enough, take apart your old computer and bring out the hard drive, and you don't even have to buy this hard drive if the other one's good enough, because you know most computers have a big enough hard drive. Then you already have Windows installed. But if you want, then you can have $100 extra that you can spend on one of these extra things. But I'll explain that in just a bit. But if you want to buy this new one, you'll have to do a full transfer, and you can search it up on Google. I'm not going to get too into that, but you'll need to transfer the entire hard drive onto this hard drive. Then you'll have all the same stuff. Yeah, but to do that, you'll need to plug both this hard drive and your old one into the same computer, which you would probably do on your new computer. As you're building it, you plug in both hard drives. And the extras, if you decide to use your old hard drive and you have extra cash, I would highly recommend buying a solid-state drive. Now, these things are pretty much flash drive, like USB 3.0 on steroids flash drives inside your computer that are huge. So this is these have extremely fast rates. This one, solid state drive is 64 gig, is $65. So you're paying about $1 a gig, which is about what you pay for flash drives, as opposed to hard disk drives, which are about $1 for about 10 gigs. So here you're gonna see is fits in the 2.5, so it'll fit in the chassis. It's STATA 3.0, so it'll have the 6 gigabits a second. As you can see here, the sequential read and the sequential write are pretty fast. The random read and random write are extremely fast, but as you can see, but this isn't, these aren't as fast. I mean, this is a very nice solid state drive here. 64. Basically Windows takes up about 20-ish gigs. So if you're gonna put Windows on this, you have about 24 gigs extra to put the games you use the most. Like average game 4 gigs ish, maybe less, depending on what game you have. You can fit a bunch of games in here, or stuff that you use the most. Like let's say you use video editing software a ton. Put your video editing software on the solid state drive. It'll come up in Windows. You can watch some tutorials on this too to see how to transfer your operating system over to here. And the other one, which I think is a better deal, 128 gigabytes for $100. This one is this is about the same. It's the same STATA drive, but as you can see, the sequential read is a bit faster. Sequential write is a bunch faster. This is a little bit faster, and the random read and random write are a little bit slower. But that's not that big of a deal. It's mostly the sequential read and write. As you can see, the STATA 6 gigabits per second. So this is a very nice solid state drive as well. 128 bits, so you can fit a bunch of stuff on here. I wouldn't recommend putting like random videos and music on here unless you really listen to music all the time and you really need it to be like a millisecond response time to load your music. But you just put, mostly I would put programs on solid state drives. So that concludes our video on building a $1,000 computer. And it's, as you can see, it's very loaded. It's not, we're not shying away from it's very high-end stuff here with only $1,000. So obviously in this video I did not include a keyboard, a mouse, a monitor, or a computer chassis, or a printer. Those are things I believe we don't use printers that much anymore with all the technology anymore. But if you have a printer, you can get one for cheap. The keyboard and mouse, you should probably already have one. But if you want to buy a fancy one, I would recommend buying the, if you want a nice mechanical keyboard, the Razer Black Widow is a good one. For mouses, there are some good mouses just on Newegg. You can go look up some popular mouses. The keyboard runs you around $70. The mouse is around $50–$40 for if you want to get really good gaming stuff. And screens, I got my $90 21.5 inch screen for about $90. So I got a full 1080p screen. So like especially around Black Friday, screens you can get for good because those are more more common things. A lot of these little parts are harder to find on sale. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the $1,000 computer. And real quick before you go, if you made it through the whole video, thank you for watching, and I appreciate the support. And if any of you have just any questions, put in the comment section below. And if you have any personal questions, anything specific, you can ask me in a message to me. I will respond ASAP. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any suggestions, like if you want me to explain, like I'll make a video about explaining graphics cards and most of the specs on them, or explaining, anything you want an explanation on, hit up a comment and I'll see what I can do about it. So thank you very much for sticking with me. Eventually I'll make a few more videos, like probably a $750 computer, maybe $500, maybe one or the other, maybe $1,500. I'll probably make my dream computer and I'll just rush through that one pretty fast because it's not like you'll be buying it anyway, so it'll just be kind of for fun. But anyways, thanks for watching the whole thing. I appreciate it. Thanks for the help, and if you want to help me even more, you can subscribe, like this video and everything. That'd be great. Thanks.